aka Eileen, the little crafter assistant information about arts, custom, and everything in between, and my little crafter show, which is on YouTube. Both shows information can be found on my website, eileenthecrafter.com. Holy camoli, happy Samhain, guys. I hope I'm pronounced that right. I always mess it up. Every year I just say Happy New Year or turning of the wheel. Oh my goodness, I hope that you guys are having or had an awesome festival. If you guys don't know, Wiccans don't really consider Halloween a bad or evil thing, as a lot of people suggest it is. It's basically a holiday where we remember our, passing of our loved ones. Thank you for the gods and goddesses for the harvest that they provided this year. And we look forward to the coming of winter. We get ready for all that stuff. And it really is a special time of year for us. And we feel very lucky that we celebrate with everyone. But it turns out that not everybody sees it like us. And, it is what it is. I mean, every religion is going to see their point of view. There are, like I said, there are those of us who do not see it as evil or wicked. Basically, the veil of between the living and the dead is thin, and so therefore we remember our loved ones, and we light candles, we say our prayers. It's not about the dressing up, it's not about the candy. Some of us throw intimate little parties, some of us say little prayers. It's some throw big parties for their fellow Wiccans. And there's drumming, there's singing, it's whatever you want to make it. And it is, a time of year where we are grateful for the harvest, our friends and our family, and we wish our fallen loved ones the best in their new life, or bring peace to them. So it has a lot of, significant meaning. I didn't do any type of ghost story this year because nothing crazy has happened a lot this year in terms of like supernatural or spooky. Those days seem to be past me, which is a good thing. And so I'm grateful for that. So let's move on with today's podcast. So I'm going to be reviewing, hopefully not giving away too much spoiler alerts, but I'm going to try and do my best. So spoiler alert, they may be a little bit and they may be not. So I'm going to be doing my review of the 7 Deadly Sins. As you guys know, it took us a while before we got a new, technically a second or third season, depending if you look at it on Netflix. It's kind of weird. There was something in between where it was like a 4-part episode. It was kind of like a filler. And the last maybe 1 or 2 episodes really gave a hint of what was going on or what was going to be occurring in the next season. And we had to wait all the way to the winter. And it was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? So, yeah, so it's kind of weird. All right, so here is a bit of a spoiler. All right, so we go into the season thinking that Elizabeth and this is now with Meliodas and this other sins going to travel to Camelot, but apparently that was a dream. So they're still back in, I think, Leonis, and nothing is happening. Things are brewing. The group is kind of, how do I say this? Together, but not really together. Like, Vaughn is thinking about making his own trip because he has something that he has to do, but he's not really explaining or giving any explanation to the other sins, especially not to the captain, because of the fight that they had. The goddess basically, as you know from last season, if you guys haven't watched it, please, sorry about this, spoiler alert, the goddess in one episode basically said to him that if he kills Meliodas, that he'll bring back the love of his life. Alright, so if you guys haven't watched, the premise of the show is basically the 7 deadly sins were a group of basically like misfits that came together to become holy knights to defend the kingdom of, I think it's Leonidas. And they all have different past, things that happened to them and what made them become the perfect sin. Alrighty, so they became a group and they somehow lost their memories, and it turns out that Merlin, another spoiler alert, erased them, but don't know why exactly. We're still getting into that, so maybe by the second season, or maybe I missed that part, don't know why. Alright, so rewind that a little bit. So they are accused of a crime that they didn't commit. They all go run and hide, and we get to see all of the sins except for the sin of pride. He's hiding really well. So we get to see the sins hide. Okay. So where was I? Sorry, I got a little interrupted. Alrighty. So the lion sin, the sin of pride, basically, he has hid himself really well. And according to this middle, or what Netflix is calling the second season, basically they're going to go on a journey, but when you go back to the second season, or what Netflix is calling the third season, they haven't left yet. And like I said, they're going off in their different directions. Diane and Gunther get into some tiff, and something happens to Diane, so she's in her own little thing. King and Vaughn go on their own little back to the forest, their forest, and they have something to take care of over there. I'm gonna try and give you as least, but I really didn't like the fact that they kind of left this standalone little in-betweener, like a dream type state. It didn't make any sense to me why they did that, because there was a lot going on, and it was pretty interesting and kind of goofy. So therefore it was like, but the king's premonition about something going to happen is still there and looming. Elizabeth is the one who wakes up in the middle and is like, oh, it was just a dream. Apparently Elizabeth is basically being pushed away by Leonidas, because he doesn't want anything to happen to her, and he feels that if she goes on this journey with him, that he can't protect her from the sins. Basically, not the sins, but from the commandments. It's kind of weird. The good guys are called sins, and the commandments are the bad guys. The commandments got their abilities from the Demon King, and you learn a lot more about Leonidas and how he became also a traitor to them. And you learn the relationship between Elizabeth and Leonidas, the captain, and it's really, really complicated, and there's a lot going on with each character, and you get to see the Lion King's sin, the pride's, basically, it was a really funny thing. It was just so really weird, seeing his character. Not what I expected. I actually thought that he was going to be Arthur, but apparently Arthur is there, but not really there. I thought Arthur was going to take this because they are going to Camelot, but sorry for that. A spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, they are going to Camelot. And basically the series does take care in this mythological Britannia. They still have a little bit of the fairies, but the fairies are dwindling. The humans are still there and they're populating. Magic is kind of dwindling. There's not a lot of magicians. So the commandments are thinking, okay, everything is easy peasy. The goddess races all but disappeared, and they don't seem to be wanting to help anybody. So we shall see what happens. Like I said, there's a lot more mystery, a lot more intense. The battles are is only 24 episodes this time around, and I watched all of it, and I'm just super excited and pumped for next season. This I gotta admit, I thought maybe possibly we would see more of Diane, but you get to see a little bit of her story, a little bit more a backstory from her, because she is losing her memory, and I apologize for this, another spoiler, due to Gunther. Gunther is having some issues, and you also learn something about him, and you're like, what? Holy camole, like, so yeah, so it kind of, I'm not gonna say, but it made my jaw hit the floor, and I was like, what? You see Hawk, and it's just, oh my goodness, that pig is funny. I want a stuffy of him. Like, if I could have him, a stuffy, him and his mom, like his figurine, and a stuffy of him, that would be awesome. Love that character. He always has the right things to say. You basically see a lot more of of the bad guy from last year, apparently, to redeem himself. And there's a lot of twists and turns. You don't know who to root for, and then once you really get into the story, it's like, oh, that's what happened, and oh my goodness, like, it just kind of, oh, if you guys could see one series, and just really are an anime fan, if you're not an anime fan, and just watch a couple of episodes and, just check it out. It really is a good show. I don't recommend it for the kiddies. I kind of feel like, with Leonidas being really basically a perv, I don't recommend this series for anybody that is under the age of 17. 16 is pushing it, depending on the parents. 17, 18 is more mature. It's a very, there are certain jokes and like him grabbing onto Liz in certain areas. You don't get to see certain things, but it just, in that anime style that is kind of raunchy, tongue-in-cheek type deal. But in the middle of that, there's incredible battles. There's a lot of magic going. I'm hoping to get a little bit more story about Merlin. You get a little bit, and you're still like, is that all we're going to get? So it really, really is. Like I said, this time around, you get a lot more backstory of each of the sins while they are trying to defeat the commandments, which, like I said, is really odd that they are the commandments and the heroes are the sins. But apparently that's how it is in Japan. Like, the bad guys are in white, they dress in white, and the good guys dress in black. So it's a really interesting theory to see, that it's kind of confusing, but at the same time it's really fun. And I'm also hoping to see more of, who else's story will I to see? Of course, Gunther's. His story was good. The bombshell that they dropped on him was really good, and it's like, yeah, like, you're not gonna get into that? Like, what? So yeah, like I said, you get into a little bits and pieces, and some bombshells are dropped. And apparently Liz and Leonidas are just destined to be together. It's just so interesting. The story and the chemistry between the two of them. I could deal without some of the perviness. I just kind of feel like it's over the top, at times, and, not needed, but I guess it is what it is. Great story, great drawing, really funny, action pack, and I don't mind the humor too much. You guys know I'm not a very comedic person, that I like, comedy animes, but I think that it has something for everyone, except for, someone who is younger. Adults would not recommend this. This is definitely not a family anime. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are looking for family animated movies, I hear that How to Train a Dragon is kicking on, and Trolls, I think, also looks pretty interesting. I may check that out as well. They do have a lot of different children movies that you guys can check out. I don't know if Coco is still on there, but Coco was really good. I loved it. They have some animated Batman movies. Some of them might be a little intense for some younger viewers, but some of them not so bad. You may want to check the ratings on that, but all in all, I definitely would recommend this on your anime list or Netflix watching. They also do, if anime is not your cup of tea, finally we get Daredevil, we get, what else? The Sabrina, the Dark Adventures of Sabrina, or whatever the case may be. The New Adventures or whatever. I forget. So Sabrina's there. There's a lot of new interesting things on excuse me, my apologies. I'm still getting over this cold. It sucks. Major. Little geese. Again, I definitely recommend you watch it from start to finish. They do have it in dub and they do have it in subtitles. So there's something for everybody. If you're into watching subs or dubs, you're in good company. Alrighty, guys. So, like I said, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you, everyone who has been listening, especially Sweden, France, Germany, I think Holland as well. Everyone in the U.S., Baltimore, Detroit, everywhere, Texas. Sorry, I don't have my computer in front of me. I had to lend my computer to my son, and he is not using it. So, yeah, major problem with his computer. But anyway, guys, like I said, if you guys really want to know what is going on with Halloween and what people really think about it, I highly recommend it. Just take a read. There's a lot of good, interesting articles, true articles, about how people celebrate the holiday and, being a Wiccan or what is a witch. What else? And that's about it, guys. So thank you for listening. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them on below. Or you can always email me. My email address is eileen@eileenlittlecropper.com. And don't forget to check out my website. It has a bunch of different types of videos, blog posts, and all that good stuff. And that website again is eileen@eileenlittlecropper.com. Thank you for listening, and bye for now. Catch you next week.